Hi everyone, it's Gabby back again for another video, and today I have with me virtually one of my best friends, Jessica. We've been
Hi.
collab with her before, so I will link her YouTube channel down below so you guys can check out her videos. And today we're going to be talking about the top 10 things not to ask a blind person. Jess, you can introduce yourself and everything.
Hi. I also have a YouTube channel. It's not the best, but Gabby will link it down below. Yeah, I'm excited to do this video. We've been friends for forever, and we kept saying, we'll collab, and then finally, we were both like, okay, let's do it. So, Gabby,
Mhm.
start with the first one.
Sure. I talk a lot about blindness here on my channel. Jess talks a lot about blindness on her channel. We're just two blindies talking about blind stuff. I don't know. And I think that for me, I'm always faced with different situations and challenges, and I've been asked a bunch of like weird questions, like weird things. Um, One thing not to ask a blind person, I would say, is how many fingers am I holding up? Okay, I've gotten this a lot. Jess, I don't know about you, but
Yes.
I've gotten this a lot, and it's like you try to be respectful, and I try my best to be respectful. I'm not a rude person, but when somebody's constantly like, "How many fingers am I holding up? How many fingers am I holding up? Can you not see me?" And I'm like, "No, I
People
can't."
don't take it at face value. I feel it's they feel like it's like, okay, we're obviously faking or we're lying, and they're kind of trying to catch us in the act, which obviously makes no sense.
Exactly. So that's my
Yeah.
first one.
For mine, I feel like a lot of times when people are asking you about your vision loss, they ask in such a rude way, and they're like, they come out with it so blatantly, like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Oh, what happened to you?" And I don't
Mm,
like that because like I'm perfectly comfortable talking about it. I've always been blind, since birth, but most people aren't, and I feel like people don't think about the fact that we're humans. They just think we're these thing like objects that they can ask and manipulate, and I just think it's kind of awful, honestly.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think growing up, I've been asked the question of like, and you're right. Another thing is, well, I'll add this in my next one, but just overall, like, how did you get like this? Or like, truthfully, like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, for my third one, I'll say like that is one that I've been asked, like, how did you become blind? And like Jessica said, I don't have an issue talking about my disability. I don't ever have an issue discussing it and having a conversation respectfully with somebody, because it's who I am, and it's part of, well, it's not fully who I am, but it's part of who I am, and I think that if you have some sort of disability, whatever it is, you should be comfortable enough to discuss it with somebody. So when you're asked, like, how did you become blind? And they ask it in like such this rude way, you're like, how do I even respond to that in a way,
Exactly.
you know? So that's also something that I don't like. If you're going to ask somebody, ask them in a respectful way. Please don't approach a blind person and just be like, hey, so I know you don't know me,
Happening to
but like,
you. Like,
mm-hmm.
I also feel like, just to add on before I say mine, I feel like people don't when people ask, it's not like they ask tactfully. It's kind of just added on. Like it's the
Mm-hmm.
thing they ask. It's not like, oh, how are you? Oh, what's your favorite? Like I always just want to shake people and be like, I'm so much more interesting. Like ask me a million more things. Like
Yeah,
the least interesting thing I would say about myself, honestly.
same.
Uh, so I guess for my next one, I feel like people constantly reference like shows about blind people, mostly Daredevil.
Yeah.
Like I've definitely gotten, so are you like Daredevil? Is that like a lifesaver? And I'm like, are you dumb? Like what's wrong with you? No, that makes no sense. So people that kind of don't reference TV characters, because obviously that's not true. And normally those TV shows are so unrealistic and not very well portrayed. I mean, honestly, I think it's like 95% of disabled characters are played by able-bodied people, is something
Yeah.
crazy like that, which is awful.
Yeah. Just to add on before I add my next one, that's something I spoke about in a video that I have coming out sometime this month. Where I said like, for people always think that we have super hearing, like we're Daredevil. And at first, like people used to be like, "Oh my gosh, you're like Daredevil," and I'm like, I'm not though, because I'm not a superhero. Like I'm not somebody who can sit here and hear something going on 2, 3 blocks away and like jump from roof to roof. And I don't know. I don't like. First of all, like Jessica said, a lot of the time, a lot of these able-bodied actors who play the part of disabled people don't actually do any research. They don't look into, okay, how do I actually go about approaching this, because I don't want to be looked at, I don't want to come off disrespectfully. So I think, please don't ever, if you're friends with a blind person and you want to know more about our lifestyle, please don't assume that we have this like supersonic hearing and that we're superheroes.
Exactly. Or even not superheroes. Like, I feel like even just in the dark, which I haven't
Mm-hmm.
I could bring myself to watch it. I'm also not like a rom-com, like dramatic comedy kind of person, but even that show was just kind of like, oh, she has sex with all these people. She doesn't take
Mm-hmm.
the dog well. And I think the problem, well, there are a lot. We could make a whole video on just bad representation in the media. But
Yeah.
the biggest problems with that is that since there are so few of us in the world, people will watch one thing and assume it's how we are all portrayed in real life, which is awful. Again, the Daredevil reference, it's like, we're not like that at all. Like, we're interesting, multifaceted people. Like, I hate Marvel. Ask Gabby. The amount of things she said watch and I haven't watched, it's kind of bad. Like,
Yeah. My next one is, this isn't really like a question, but it's more of an action that people kind of have taken and how they've approached me. If I tell somebody that I can't see, because I've been told that I don't look like I'm blind, like my eyes don't make me look like I can't see, which you might, a lot of different people who are visually impaired, this is going to sound kind of mean, but like they look differently. We all have like, some of us look like we can't see, some of us don't, and that's fine. That's just the way it
mostly in
is.
the eyes. Like, mine,
Yeah,
they're clouded over. They're not fully
your
colored.
eyes. I mean, like,
Yeah.
you are. I mean, your eyes. But yeah, I've been pitied a lot. Jess, I know you. I'm sure you can agree that like when you tell somebody, oh, I'm completely blind, or oh, I'm visually impaired, their first immediate like reaction is, oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry to hear about that.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like, what? Why? Why are you sorry? Sometimes it just like, I'm flabbergasted by people's reactions. I'm just like, whoa, what?
I know. It's just, it's sad, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It really is, because it's like, I don't like that people just assume that we are this crazy, rare species, or whatever. And then I guess to go off of yours, mine would be just kind of along the lines of that, just like kind of inspiration porny. Like, I'll tell someone what I'm a social work major,
Yeah.
and like I get, I'm pretty intelligent, get really good grades, and they're like, wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
So, and then if I were fully sighted, I would have just been considered like a nerd, which I am, not gonna lie. But it's just kind of sad that people use these fairly mundane things about us. Like, I can't be just a smart person. I have to be
Right.
so awe-inspiring and amazing and phenomenal because I'm blind.
Right. To add on to that, before I add my next one, I think that, there's ways to respectfully tell somebody, like, oh, that's inspirational, or you're an inspiration. But when you're pitying them and you're saying it out of pity, then we know, like, there's a difference in your tone, how you react to what we're telling you. So some advice for that is just, please don't, approach the situation that way. Just respectfully say, wow, that's amazing, but don't do it out of pity. Don't do it to be mean, because
Exactly.
we will know.
We always know. I feel like people don't think
Exactly.
we know. People just assume we don't notice.
Exactly. My next one is, can you see in your dreams? So I've actually
I don't know how to answer that one. Like,
yeah, I don't know how to
question.
answer that, because See, when I dream, it's really weird because sometimes I feel like I can see what happened, but I also think that when I wake up, like for me to be able to explain to you what just happened in the dream, it's kind of fuzzy. I mean, there's a whole psychological thing behind why you can't remember most of your dreams, but we're not going to get into that today. But no, I think for me, people, again, it's all out of like spite and pity. And I think that when people ask, like, oh, I guess to reword that question is more of like, how do you sleep if you can't see? Or like, do you sleep with your eyes? I've gotten some really weird questions, I'm telling you.
I know. I have too. And I don't know. It's weird because I feel like generally you don't remember your dreams. Someone's like,
Mm-hmm.
when you dream, can you see? I'm just like, I don't know. I guess
Right.
of that one, it's like, so what can you see? And I'm just like,
Oh, yes.
I don't know. Like for me, okay. So also I should probably preface, like Gabby and I are only two blind people. Our experiences don't reflect other blind people. So just like
Yes.
disclaimer. So we don't like, just because these are opinion based, obviously, and these are just based off of our personal experiences. So just because we say, oh, we don't know what this is like, doesn't mean every blind person is like us.
Yeah.
Anyway, but people are like, so what can you see? And I'm like, I don't know. So I've been blind since birth, literally since birth. Ever since I came, into this world, I've never had sight. So I can't even conceptualize what that's like. Oh, and to go off of that, when people try and compare things, you know what I mean? Like when they're like, it's blue like the sky. I'm just like, I have no reference for that. So what does that even, you know what I mean? Like, what does that even mean?
We're at what now? 8, 7, I think?
I think 7.
Okay, so we have 3 more. To fire off of what Jess said, I think when people say, when they compare, it's like, I wasn't born completely blind. I lost mine at, I want to say 18 months old. I'll get into that at another time as well. But for now, I think I don't remember what colors look like. I don't remember what my family's faces look like, because they say when you go through something really tragic at a young age, your memory after the age of like 2 or 3 is like really blacked out. Like you don't remember any of that. And so let's say I lost it at like 3 years old, then I probably would be able to tell you like, oh, blue looks like this, or compare it to something that a blind person could understand. But I think that a lot of times sighted people don't try to look at it at our perspective, like our level. No pun intended. But I think, yeah, it's really hard to say to a blind person, hey, that thing is green like the grass. Well, obviously we all know what grass feels like, but we don't know what the color is,
Exactly. It's like we have no point of reference.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you had vision from a young age, if it was even if you lost it at 3, as you grow older, those memories start to fade.
Yeah.
I think even if you did lose it later in life, it would still be very difficult,
right,
to conceptualize. I guess another one for me is when people, I don't know why we didn't say this earlier, but when people will turn to the person you're with. Like I went to,
oh my,
I know, I'm surprised we didn't say it earlier. I went to this fruit bowl place with my friend, and she had to park across the street. So we're crossing the street and we're walking down kind of like the sidewalk to the door. And this random woman comes up and she was like, oh, are you working? To my friend. And my friend and I are both wearing IDs. And I'm like, she's like, no. And the woman's like, you help her, right? And my friend's like, no, I'm just her friend. And we went into the place and I was like, you would not believe how often that happens. It's just crazy.
Oh my goodness.
People can't conceptualize that we are capable of having friendships. They think people are there to provide for us, to care for us, to help us. And as someone that travels a lot with sighted people, I have a lot of sighted friends. Mm-hmm. It's just really aggravating when people don't value me and assume, even like restaurants, oh, what would she like? Like, no.
Oh, yes.
Like, I'm perfectly capable of speaking for myself.
Yes. And, that's so true, because I'm also someone who travels a lot and hangs out with a lot of my sighted peers, and it's happened to me so many times that I don't even know how many times it's happened, but whenever I go out to the mall or something with somebody, with one of my friends, or we're just spending time together, um, if I'm asking somebody in the store, like, hey, can you help me find whatever I'm looking for, an outfit or something, or making an order, um, people they'll stare at my friend and they'll be like, or they'll point to them, because my friends will tell me this. They'll be like, they just pointed to me and were like, aren't you there to help her? Like, what is your job? What are you doing? And I feel so bad for my friends in that situation, because I'm like, I know that that's not what you're here for. I know that you're my friend and that you genuinely care to spend time with me, and that you're not doing it to pity me, or you're not, assisting me because you feel like you need to do it. You're doing it because you're my friend and you genuinely care and support me. And so when that happens, it's like, well, now what? I just think it's so, I feel so bad when that happens.
So do I. And then I also feel like it's a wake up call for them. Like, I can't tell you how many times a friend has been with me when something inaccessible has happened. Like, I remember one time I went to breakfast with a friend and we were in the dining hall and she looked at me and she was like, this is so hard. What are you doing? I'm like, I honestly just ask people, because them, it's like they know how inaccessible it is, but until they see it, it really brings home, like, wow, things are kind of hard, which is true. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think,
And I think the 10th,
or
sorry,
one more.
Yeah. I think the last one I would have to say is just, it's not like a question again, it's more of like an assumption, but people are usually just like, wow, I just had it and now I lost it. Hold on, I'm trying to think. Sorry. Jess, if you have one you want to say, you can go ahead. I'm thinking.
While you ponder that. So I guess for my last thing, again, it's not really a question, or it's just a piece of advice. I feel like no matter what disability you have, who you're approaching who is disabled, ask first. And I always encourage people. I'm very open. I'm very friendly. Please ask me questions. I'm totally cool answering. I'll answer almost anything. Don't ask me questions all about blindness. I've had people come up to me and just ask me questions for an hour about blindness. And I'm like,
right.
I want to make a shirt, Gab. I just want to make a shirt that like lists all the awesome attributes about me and has blind like at the bottom, because it's but ask first, because I feel like if you don't ask, you're not going to know. And as long as you ask respectfully, for me personally, I will always answer and I will always try and give you as much information as possible, because I have gotten annoyed at sighted people, but I have to keep reminding myself, like, they don't know. And if people are going to be uncomfortable,
we have to educate them.
Yeah, so our job is to educate, hence all of both our channels is just to educate people aware. And I understand, like, if you don't know, you're worried and you're scared, but it's better to know and understand than to not know and look awkward. So
yeah.
Ask first.
Definitely. I agree with that 100%. I'm the same way. Because a lot of the times I've realized, like I've said this in one of my old videos where I spoke about the challenges that I'm faced with as a blind college student, that people are intimidated and people don't like to, accept someone that they think might be quote unquote different from them. And it's like, we're not different. We are the exact same. If you got to know us and you spoke to us and you really understood what we were like and our lifestyle, then you would see that we are just like you. And to add to finalize this video, just to say my last point that I was going to make is just that people think that we're like this like special tribe and special species. Like they're like, oh, blind people, look at them. Like, look, and I think, like, going back to what we just mentioned, people just, I would rather you be more comfortable approaching me and saying, well, I want to learn about you. I want to know what you do and how your life works, because it's not to be like weird or anything, but like, oh, it's interesting, and I'm curious to know more. Like, I've had people stop me in the hallway and be like, oh, you're so independent and it's great, and that's, just keep doing whatever you're doing because you're doing a great job. And those are the moments that I'm like, thank you for not being inconsiderate and being rude and approaching me in a disrespectful way.
I know exactly what you mean. I feel like, even just going off of what you said a minute ago about you want to learn about people, whenever I meet someone, I'm like, hey, can I have your number? Let's hang out, let's go somewhere. Like,
Exactly.
campus. I mean, I'm obviously quarantined now, but my school has a lot of like really cute like areas to get food around the area, the place, and we'll go and we'll eat. And I'm a social work major, so I love to get to know
Right.
people. And I like when people are like, I'm inspirational, you're inspirational, when they're nice about it. But I also want to be like, hey, if you like me, let's be friends. Let's hang out. I'm always around.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Jess, I want to thank you so much for joining me today on my channel.
Always.
Check out her videos and her channel. We're going to be doing a lot more collabs together.
So true.
And thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that this gave you some more insight on our lives, even if it's, different from visually impaired people that you may know. But hey, we are all different people. We live different lifestyles. The only thing that really connects us, truthfully, is that we all can't see, but we all approach blindness and our lifestyles in different ways. So hope that this gave you some insight, and I'll see you guys next time.